And the winner will be the one that is the wisest, the smartest, the most calculated, and of course, the fastest. Maciej Gledicz for pole in pole. And then it is Alexander Bondarev, the Ukraine, in second position. Nicolas Rus and Yevan David on the second row of the grid. Then Oscar Wirtz and Maxi Schleimer, Riccardo Iannello and David Walter from Luca Neunschwander, Leo Robinson, Federico Alrifai and Renaud Franco, Lucas Flusha, Leon Zelenko, Dion Gauda, Gazi Motlakar, Darius Babiawana and Augustin Bernier.
Followed by Salim Hanna, Nicolas Ambiado, Mark Dubnitsky, Alexander Skeltjen, Caleb Garafoy, Nando Weichelbaumer, Tom Braken, Leo Ochai, Mark Kastelic, Matej Konic, Bart Harrison, Stefano Cagnolo, Jaco Leitinen, Ludwig Franson, Daniel Muellen, Saul de Columbres, Gio Kim, and Nemanja Jovanovic. Everybody out onto the track, 36 of them here for the second meeting of the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. It's going to be exciting, and let's expect another down-to-the-wire battle for the win on this FIA Karting Raceway. 1,300 meters and 11 turns to go through this beautiful track that came out of the earth back in 2014, so almost a decade of existence for this beautiful FIA Karting Raceway. The third visit of the FIA Karting competition after 2016 and last season, and the second when it comes to the Academy Trophy. So this will be absolutely interesting to see. Maciej Gledicz on the inside line, in theory, with the advantage if he has a good start. This will be a rolling procedure, as always, when it comes to the Academy Trophy, pretty much as the junior class in the European Championship. The only difference is that everybody has the same material, same chances, and once again, it's down to the driver to be able to make a difference.
Now, one of the interesting factors coming into this one is that, of course, the way things currently stack up, we are likely to have a new championship leader by the end of the weekend, because both Renaud Franco and Salim Hanna are down the order. Maciej Gledicz is the favourite to take the lead of the championship on 21 points, but just 1 point behind him is Yevan David, who starts fourth on the grid. And there's plenty of great battles coming from Alexander Bondarev, Nicolas Rus, Wirtz, Schleimer, Iannello and Walter. So a lot could happen as they come off the final turn. Gledicz controls on the inside. Bondarev is ready on the as the Academy. It's underway next time, and not quite in position. Boli was so they will go round.
Attempt when it comes to drivers are going to receive the order from the racing officials. Let's try this one more time, shall we? As once again, we talked about the difficult task of the pole sitter, in this case, Maciej Gledicz, to be able to pace down the field quite enough for everybody to stick together in the third and last sector. And our race officials onto the track are going to have to show themselves, to show the drivers that they need to reduce their speed as much as possible. Otherwise, we cannot have a formation of the grid deemed sufficient enough by our race director, Nigel Edwards. But this time around, usually, it's very rare that we have 3 attempts. Generally speaking, the second is the good one. Will it be the case for the Academy youngsters this time around, as they come at this point? This is here actually that Maciej Gledicz has to show the example, show the speed that everybody has to respect, and once they come back on the start-finish straight, at some point on the straight, once they pass the line, they can actually overtake, and here we go for racing in just a few meters.
Time for a great race. Gledicz on the inside, Bondarev on the outside, Rus, David, Wirtz, Schleimer, Iannello and Walter giving chase. Is it going to be green? Yes it is! We're racing, and Maciej Gledicz gets a perfect hold shot start as they charge through. Oh, there's been an issue in the middle of the pack. A couple of drivers running wide there. So already a difficult start, but it looks as though everybody is still pointing in the right direction. Yevan David is up to third position and immediately charging for the lead. Alexander Bondarev has got up into first position as he battles with Maciej Gledicz. Yevan David is going the long way round for the switchback maneuver. Yevan David going side by side with Gledicz in a second place, holds it round the outside, banks wheels with Bondarev and drops back into third position. Now tucks back in. Yevan David wants to get this race won on the first lap by the look of it, but he has to hang back in third position for the moment.
Wow, what a start that was. And Yevan David came close to take the lead already, but the battle is on between those 3 drivers with Gledicz and Bondarev side by side. Look out,
David second.
There he goes.
And that's Iannello, I think, through into third position as well. So Iannello has made a terrific getaway on home soil. And he's there up the inside. Yevan David takes the lead on lap 2. What a start from the Sri Lankan. Straight up into the lead of the race. And now he has a chance to not only take the victory, but take the lead of the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. What a run from David, but watch for Iannello. He's already motivated and fired up here in third position. He's on home soil. He wants to bring another Italian victory. Bondarev gets squeezed as Iannello sorts him out, holding on to that third place.
Yeah, Bondarev going a bit outside of the track, but Yevan David, this is very early for him to take the lead of this race. There's going to be a very tight battle all the way until the checkered flag, but he saw the gap and went for it. Yevan David for just a tenth of a second. Watch out for Mrs. Gladys, the pole sitter. Still very early in this race, putting the pressure on, but going defensive as well because Ricardo Agnello climbing 4 places.
He's got an investigation flag.
Oh, that's
Yevan
interesting.
David is under investigation, the race leader. Now, that is obviously at this early stage going to be for potentially his start. Now, that is a very difficult one for Yevan David, or maybe they felt he was a little too aggressive on the opening lap. Regardless, Mathieu Gladys gets through into the lead of the race. Yevan David's coming straight back at him. The Sri Lankan is pushing hard here as he gets on the switchback. Side by side, Gladys still holds the inside line. Yevan David's going to try and get back on terms with him. He won't know that there's an investigation into him at this point. He's just got to keep working out. Iannello in third position. Then it's Neuenschwander, Bondarev, Robinson, Walter, Zelenko, and Al Refai. Excellent racing so far. Yevan David tucks up behind Mathieu Gladys. He's going to have another go at it.
Yeah, this is great racing from the youngsters of the academy. There's no warm-up stage. 3 laps in and already fighting tooth and nail for the win. Nicolas Ambiado, another one under investigation with the warning flag for the driver further back. Iannello in... This is further back in the classification. Let's see where he is. Nicolas Ambiado in 15th place, 5 places gained. And watch out for the battle raging. Mathieu Gladys under the pressure of Yevan David climbing the curb outside of turn number 3. Watch out for the place. Iannello goes through. And yes, takes second position from Yevan David. Riccardo Agnello, the young Italian, is up a place in second. He is now the chaser behind Mathieu Gladys, who in the meantime actually was able to pull away just a little bit. And he keeps on fighting further back as well. There was a change. Was it Bondarev getting overtaken by Leo Robinson? We shall wait for confirmation. Yes, indeed. Bondarev in 4th place in front, of... further back, who made the move. Yes, indeed, the 5'11" further back as well. This is a look at Neuenschwander, my apologies, who just got overtaken by Bondarev on this one. But it's going in all senses at every stage of this field. And it's just 4 laps in already. Lap number 5 out of 20. Mathieu Gladys already pulling away just a little bit. Could it be enough for him to hold on to first position until the end?
But if anyone's going to have an advantage on this circuit, it's going to be Riccardo Iannello, the home favourite. Second position for the Italian. He might just have a chance of catching up to the Polish star here. He will know the circuit better than the others in the field. Third position is Yevan David from Sri Lanka. Still has a great chance. Alexander Bondarev of the Ukraine is in 4th place. Then Brazil's Luka Neuenschwander and Denmark's David Walter from Leon Zelenko of Croatia and Leo Robinson of Algeria. It's going very well indeed. Salim Hanna, the Colombian, has got up to 9th position. Great comeback from Salim Hanna. He's made up 10 places already. Gafrara is charging forward as well. The American is just in behind Nicolas Roos, the South African. So Gafrara has a really good run of this as well. But it's looking like Mathieu Gladys is going to take a 10-point lead in the Drivers' Championship going to the season finale at Kristianstad. The way things are currently stacking up. Up the inside line, a challenge for position from Walter to try and get past Neuenschwander. The Brazilian is absolutely resolute in his defence of the Danish talent. But Luka Neuenschwander hangs on to that 5th position for the moment. Walter is right there in P6. An excellent race from these guys in the top 10. Up the inside, nice manoeuvre from David Walter and also from Robinson, who gets through on Leon Zelenko.
Yeah, it's going out all stages, but good move indeed from David Walter. Up a place in 5th, and Leo Zelenko having to back down in front of Leo Robinson in 7th. What a race, what a start of a race that is. Let's have a look at the gaps as they come across just in front of us. Half of a second still between Mathieu Gladys and Riccardo Agnello. The battle is raging still on your screen. This is the 5:05 further back. This is David Walter. Look at Neuenschwander just behind, who still has something to say. Going around the inside, it touched a little bit. And I'm afraid that David Walter just lost a bit of momentum over there, being pushed just on the outside of turn number 2. That was very tight, but they both managed to stay on track, clipping the curb while watching over his shoulder. That's good driving by David Walter, but he's going defensive offensive right now because Noah Shander just behind is going for it. 3 laps, 3 positions gained already for him, but he wants more. He wants more, absolutely. 6. He could go for 5 and even further in the classification as things stand. This is lap number 7. Still Gladish in the lead. Janiello second. Yevan David in third. Just 2 little tenths, so nothing is written yet.
A good move there on the inside. That is Gafrara, who gets past Nicolas Roos in the closing stages of this lap. David Walter very lucky not to get spat off the road as he clipped the curbs on the exit there of the corner. So Gafrara up into 10th place behind Salim Hanar. They're working through the field together on the inside line. That is the battle for the lower position. I think that is going to be the 541 trying to charge through. It is the 511 getting back again though. Luca Neunschwander and Leo Robinson, I apologise, 547 still battling away. And up the inside, that is the lunge from Nicolas Roos to get up on the inside there of Mark Kastelich. So Nicolas Roos moves forward, the South African. And this is definitely still a great race all the way through. Lots of opportunities, lots of overtaking moves. But Maciej Gladys is having a great run of it in the lead of the race from Riccardo Iannello and Yevan David. They've now settled into a bit of a rhythm, those three. They want to stretch away from the rest of the field. Alexander Bondarev trying to stay with them in 4th place. David Walter safe and sound in 5th place. Leo Robinson is now the head of the chasing pack in 6th position, ahead of Neunschwander, Zelenko, Hanar, Gafrara, Roos, Kastelich, Babiwana, Flusha, Wirtz, Skelton, Leitinen and Ochai.
And I'm afraid in the meantime, this will be a race over for Augustin Bernier, the young Frenchman. Actually, he was going to have to retire, or at least he tumbled down the order until the very last place. So that will mean certainly, I'm afraid, retirement for the young VDK driver. Yes, he is on the sideline, unfortunately for Augustin Bernier, who won't see the final through here in Adria. But as you said, this is this is a quiet moment at the moment in the final, and those young drivers keep observing themselves after the storm in the opening stages. Everybody was trying to find their pace in this field. Everybody was trying to climb as many positions as possible, but now you can see that the top 3 has settled quite a bit, and Maciej Gladys is leading for just 0.3 of a second on Janiello. Keep observing the leader trying to find the flows in his driving, actually trying to find the gap, even the tiniest of gap where he can actually find himself and maybe take the lead. But the question is, this is still quite early. We're halfway point through this race. This is lap number 10 out of 20. David Walter the fastest on track, but still halfway through this final. Is it the right moment to go for the charge when it comes to Janiello in 2nd place? Yevan David might have the same thought in his mind, knowing that the victory potentially is up for grab, but the question is, how many laps left shall I go for the attack? Is it better now and then trying to pull away? Is it better to stay within contact, within range, and then go for the charge in the last laps, as we've seen in the qualifying races? That might be tricky, actually, happening in the young driver's helmet.
That's the trouble. There's no exact science. You've just got to hope that you have made the right call at the right moment. Further back, this is Leo Robinson battling with Luca Neunschwander for 6th and 7th places as they try and stay in touch with the race leaders, Gladys, Iannello, David, Bondarev and Walter. Now, this is fascinating from Riccardo Iannello. He has a great chance here to stand on the top step of the podium in his home country. There's not many drivers that are going to get to do that this season. Well, the only 2 that could are Riccardo Iannello and, of course, the talented Swede Ludwig Fransson. So this is going to be a difficult opportunity for Riccardo Iannello. He has a chance to put himself on the top spot at home, and that will be the biggest motivation he will ever have had in his life so far. So Riccardo Iannello working his magic here in behind Gladys and ahead of Yevan David. He's got such a smooth stance to him. He's been so calculated over the weekend, got himself into a good position nice and early on, and has been able to sustain that in 2nd position. David 3rd, Bondarev, Walter, they are all still together. Robinson, Neunschwander and Zelenko dropping back, but still having a great fight for P6.
Will it be the day of Italian drivers here on home soil? Because as we saw the victory in KZ2 from Giacomo Polini, we could see another Italian, as you said, taking a trophy in the Academy race right here, right now. And coming up as well in the KZ, let's not forget that Matteo Vigano is very much in contention for the win. So it could be actually 3 races and 3 victories for the national drivers. We're not there yet, but that could be a glorious day.
Oh, contact further back, 2 karts coming together at turn 4. And that's game over for 2 of the drivers in the pack, I'm afraid. And I think we've lost out already a couple of the competitors in the midfield. So two drivers coming together out of turn 4. It's Nicolas Ambiard, it's Stefano Cagnolo and Federico Alrifai. So the two of them have kited together. Federico Alrifai has kept going, but sadly the Argentine there, so you can see Stefano Cagnolo is out of the race. That is a shame for the Argentine. He's been showing good speed over the course of the weekend, and he deserved a better result than that. So unfortunately, he is our second retirement after Augustin Bernier of France. So a very tricky day at the office. But here is Gladys from Iannello and Yevan David, the top 3 drivers, still very close together. Alexander Bondarev is chipping away at this, as is David Walter with the new fastest lap. So there's still a very good chance that this could still change, with Bondarev and Walter very much staying hungry. We've got 7 laps to go at the end of this one, and Maciej Gladys is just hanging on in there. Iannello is getting hungrier and hungrier. The passion is dialing up a notch. The motivation is sky high. He will want to pass Maciej Gladys more than he has overtaken anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. The battle is raging. A quick word about Federico Alrifai. Unfortunately, his weekend has been going from great to really worst as he dropped to 30th in this race. He was on pole position, let's not forget, in Friday's qualifying. He wasn't able to really translate that into victory into the qualifying races. Funny enough, actually, he was pushed out of the track in the qualifying, but still was able to take pole position. So his first ever pole in the Academy Trophy at this level of karting. But unfortunately, the racing has been not up to his expectations. But there will be another weekend for him certainly to try and do more. But in the meantime, we're getting near the checkered flag. This is lap 14 about to be completed, 6 after this one. And Maciej Gladys doesn't want to look over in his mirrors, so to speak, because 0.3 of a second is nothing. And you can see Yevan David is keeping a close watch on what's going to happen in front of him. He's ready to take advantage of any opportunity. First, he's going to let certainly Iannello going for the move, unless he wants to go first and then attack Gladys in the meantime.
This is a terrific little battle for 6th place that we're watching. Leo Robinson, Luka Neuenschwander and Leon Zelenko, the Algerian, the Brazilian and the Croatian. And they are giving it absolutely 7 bells from Africa, from South America and from Europe. These 3 drivers hail, and they are battling away tooth and nail. Excellent performances so far from the 3 nations, as here comes Zelenko having a look at Neuenschwander. The Brazilian is struggling at the moment to stay with the Algerian Leo Robinson. There could still be an opportunity to work his way forward though, but Zelenko is definitely seeking a move. Here it is on the inside of Luka Neuenschwander. That'll do nicely, but he's got to shut it down on the exit. Oh, Neuenschwander unfortunately run out of road there. Nothing wrong with that maneuver at all by Leon Zelenko. He had the racing line, he was allowed to take it, and Neuenschwander was so busy looking over his shoulder, I think he didn't realise that he was being squeezed off the road there slightly. He manages to catch it together, still in P8, but he was very lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, good battle indeed. And David Walter, the fastest on track, 51.3 at the moment, and still in 5th place, trying to catch up with Alexander Bondarev in 4th place, but still 0.8 of a second between Bondarev and Walter, 4th and 5th respectively. Leo Robinson in 6th, Zelenko as well as Neuenschwander, the drivers on your picture, the 511, doing a good job indeed, making his way up to 8th place. Then we have Kastelic and Gorafar in 9th and 10th. Good effort as well from Mark Kastelic. He's been climbing 18 positions so far in this race. There's 4 laps remaining now as they come across the finish straight in front of us. 0.3 of a second between Gladys and Iannello, your leaders, with Yevan David losing a bit of momentum, 0.6 down in 3rd place, but he's still quite close to Ricardo Iannello. So let's see what's going to happen. We're back with the leaders, the 504, the 549 of Yevan David. You can see on their way to turn number 4. And the pressure is on Gladys. It's always easier to chase than being chased in karting and in motorsport, generally speaking, as we say. But right now, Maciej Gladys has everything in his pocket to go for the victory, but he needs to shut all the doors, not looking over his shoulder, and pray for anything that can happen.
This is all about who blinks first here in the battle for the victory. Maciej Gladys of Poland, Riccardo Iannello of Italy, and Yevan David of Sri Lanka. They are about a second or so ahead of Alexander Bondarev, who is a further 0.7 ahead of David Walter. This could still change dramatically in the final 3 laps, as we have already seen this weekend in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. Nothing is settled until the checkered flag, and now Maciej Gladys is starting to tire. The tyres may well be losing some grip and traction here. Riccardo Iannello is going to try and hunt him down. Look at how aggressive they are over the curve at turn 3. They've got to be careful that they don't do anything untoward. There is Yevan David, the young man from Sri Lanka, still pushing hard to get himself further up. But definitely now Iannello is closer to Maciej Gledizh than he has been in previous laps. David Walter is closing in on Alexander Bondarev. This is when the drivers are really going to start to drop the hammer and close up on the karts in front of them. But this is all about Maciej Gledizh. Control, discipline, and very close quarters racing are going to come at this point now. But it's all up to Maciej Gledizh. This is his race to lose with 2 to go.
It's quite impressive to see the level of performance from these youngsters. 20 laps. This is more than double the length that they had in qualifying heat. And still, those three were able to really keep on driving within the same distance, keep a close watch on each other, and really putting everything into the effort. But right now, you can see that Yevan David is closer than ever. Can he try to go for the move first? This is very, very difficult to find the right space, of course, unless clipping the curb, being aggressive, and dive for anything that could happen. It could be taken in the battle. David Walter keeps on pulling out laps after laps. 51.1 is still the fastest in 5th place as he's trying to decrease, and he's decreasing indeed the gap on Alexander Bondarev in 4th. So we could see a good battle coming up, but unfortunately that might be a bit too short in time as we have less than 1 lap to go, a bit more than 1 lap to go until the checkered flag. Maciej Gledizh, Iannello, Yevan David, 3 actors for just 1 trophy. Who will be there for the taking? Final lap. Here we go.
This is it for Maciej Gledizh. He has worked so hard this weekend. He has put out some fantastic displays over the course of the last 48 hours. He has pushed himself into a great position. He was strong in timed qualifying. He was controlled and disciplined. We've got an accident on the final lap, by the way, up at turn 9. So 2 karts have come off the road together there. That is unfortunate, but Maciej Gledizh is going to get this victory. There is the conflagration. Can't quite see who it is. That's the 512 that has gone there. So that, unfortunately, is Leon Ochai, the Japanese, and he's gone with Federico Al-Rifai. What an unfortunate end for the young man from the Emirates. But what an incredible... Oh, a battle for 4th place as Walter goes for Bondarev in the final turn. But Maciej Gledizh is going to come through. The young man from Poland will take victory at Adria. Maciej Gledizh is victorious in front of Riccardo Iannello and Yevan David. What a historic occasion for Maciej Gledizh, for Riccardo Iannello, and for Yevan David, for Poland, for Italy, and Sri Lanka. They are the top 3 in an FIA Karting final. History is made.
History is made indeed, and Maciej Gledizh, once again, a beautiful fair play gesture between the youngsters of the Academy Trophy. But Maciej Gledizh can punch the air with joy for his first victory at this level, first victory in the Academy Trophy for the Polish driver. Definitely a contender when it comes to the title, as he's taking the lead, the provisional lead of the Academy Trophy with 46 points, 8 points ahead of Renaud Frankert in this race, who finished in 13th place, the young Dutchman. So not quite the same weekend as he had in Wackersdorf, but still very much in contention for the title that will be decided in 2 weeks' time in Kristianstad. As it stands, Yevan David is climbing to 3rd place and might have a shot as well at the Academy Trophy title for this year, as well as Alexander Bondarev and Riccardo Iannello, 2nd of this race. But what a beautiful final it has been. Very technical, strategic as well, very well managed until the end. So Maciej Gledizh is your winner in front of Riccardo Iannello, Yevan David, Alexander Bondarev, David Walter, Leo Robinson, Leon Zelenko, Luca Neuschanter, Mark Kastelich climbing 18 places up to 9 in front of Darius Babayona, Oscar Wurz, Nicolas Russ, Renaud Frankot, Caleb Garfoy, and Alexander Skutlen in 15.
And those points from Renaud Franco mean he maintains 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, 8 points back from Maciej Gledizh. Dion Gauda, Selim Hanna, and Maxi Schleimer finish up next up in the rankings in front of Lucas Flusha and Jaakko Lehtinen, then Mark Dubnitsky and Nicolas Ambiado, Sal de Colombres and Ludwig Franzen, Gazibin Fazal Motlakar and Nando Weisselbaumer from Daniel Moellem and Matti Koenig, then Junior Kim, Tom Breiken, Nemanja Jovanovic and Bart Harrison. The retirements, Leon Ochai and Federico Al-Rifai went off on the penultimate lap of the race. And then we had retirements too from Stefano Cagnolo and Augustin Bernier. But for Maciej Gledizh, it's a coming-of-age moment for the Polish driver as he will stand on the top step of the podium with Italy's Riccardo Iannello and Sri Lanka's Yevan David. What a day.
What a day it has been, and Jake Hansen, you'll be down there at the podium in just a few moments for the ceremony, the 2nd of the afternoon, to be starting in just a few minutes. The time for everybody to gather the top 3 drivers of this class, and then we'll be ready to award the trophies, the second trophies of the season in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy in just a few moments. But congratulations again to Maciej Gladys from Poland, to Riccardo Agnello from Italy, and to Yevan David from Sri Lanka. What a race it has been, as we had in the end of the qualifying heats, Maciej Gladys starting at the forefront. Alexander Bondarev seems to be on course for fighting, but in the end, Agnello, Yevan David found their way through. Alexander Bondarev still finishing in a strong 4th position, even though 0.8 of a second down from the top 3. So by the look of the race, Bondarev had to go defensive against Walter David, returning and climbing through the ranks, pulling fastest lap after fastest lap through the race. But Bondarev was unable to put himself in the battle for the podium, unfortunately for the young driver from Ukraine. David Walter climbing through 3 positions from 8 on the grid, and fastest lap after fastest lap, yet he finishes just 1/10 of a second behind Alexander Bondarev on the line. And then we have quite a huge gap, 6.5 seconds. Leo Robinson in 6th place, leading Leo Zelenko, Luka Neuschander, Kastelic, and Darius Papayona, the rest of the top 10. Classification, of course, once made official, will be available on FIA Karting. 37 degrees Celsius on the Adriatic Karting Raceway. As we were telling you about earlier, the temperatures keeps on rising. This is very hot, but thankfully this is very hot indeed on the tarmac, on the track. 2 beautiful finals that we've had so far. The third one coming up in just a few moments, once the podium ceremony of the Academy Trophy will be completed. This is for the KZ class, of course, the 24 best karting drivers in the world, without a doubt, ready to compete for the final of the European Championship. But for that, they're going to have to go through 24 laps, same distance as for the KZ2, in what will be a great battle. 26 laps, my apologies, 2 more than the 26, the same as the KZ2, as we had 20 laps for the Academy Trophy. So 26 laps will be the length of the final for the KZ category, coming up in just a few moments. But in the meantime, Maciej Gladys took a great option on the title of the Academy Trophy with 46 points, is now leading the way, 8 points ahead of Renaud Frankert, as we said. And Yevan David now sitting comfortably in 3rd position with 6 points advantage on Alexander Bondarev. Then we have Agnello, as well as Salim Hanna, Bartolomeo Dion Gouda, Leo Robinson, and Darius Papayona in the provisional top 10 of the Academy Trophy. The third and last meeting of the competition, of course, taking place in 2 weeks' time at the occasion of the FIA Karting World Championship KZ and the International Super Cup KZ2, taking place on the Asumring of Kristianstad in Sweden. So make sure to be there as well to crown this year's winners of the Academy Trophy. We're not there yet. We have one more race to live together. This will be for the KZ, as we have 24 drivers competing at the highest level of worldwide karting in the gearbox category. So we cannot wait for that. And starting from pole position for this race, we'll see, of course, Matteo Vicano, the young Italian from the Leclerc by Lennox Racing team, Paolo Ippolito by his side, Victor Gustafsson, Pedro Hilbrand, and the rest of the grid. We'll go through that grid in just a few moments, the time for the podium ceremony of the Academy Trophy to be completed. Then we will go for the presentation of this fabulous grid of the KZ class. But Riccardo Agnello came close to emulate the victory of his fellow countryman Giacomo Polini in the KZ2 class. Came second, still a great result, is best at this level. But let's see what's going to happen, because we have 2 candidates for the victory in the KZ class from competing on home soil. Paolo Ippolito and Matteo Vigano starting alongside each other on the 3rd row of the KZ final, starting at 3:40 local time here in Italy. So 20 minutes to 4. And the meeting is set in a bit over 20 minutes. We'll be good to go for the KZ final, the last final of the day, in what has been an intense weekend of racing, the second and closing weekend of the European Championship for both the KZ and the KZ2. Still, the recovery team at work on track to gather the unfortunate drivers who had to retire from the Academy final just a moment ago. Augustin Bernier, Stefano Cagnolo, and Federico Arifai, as well as Leon Okai, who had actually to step down from this race and put foot onto the track. Quite unfortunate turn of event, as we said, for the Federico Arifai, going from pole sitter to retirement into this final. That's part of racing, and as we've seen in the KZ2 final, this can be cruel. We're talking about the incident opposing, of course, Giuseppe Palomba and Danilo Albanese in the second lap, as they were expecting as contenders for the victory. But this is how it is as we crown our first European Championship in Giacomo Polini. The winner of the Academy Trophy. We're going to have to wait 2 more weeks for naming him. Will it be Massis Gladys? Can it be Renaud Francot? Or could it be Yevan David as well as some others in the mix in Alexander Bondarev and Riccardo Agnello? Answers will be given in Kristianstad in 2 weeks. But as we have seen in the past as well, nothing is concluded until the last checkered flag, and especially in the Academy Trophy, the results of one round can be turned on its head to the next. Renaud Francot seemed to be very dominant as he was in Wackersdorf. This time around, wasn't able to confirm as much as he would have liked with a 13th place finish. He's conceding the lead of the Academy Trophy for 8 points to Massis Gladys. 37 degrees Celsius on the Adria Karting Raceway. Thanks once again very much for tuning in as we're expecting the top 3 drivers of the Academy Trophy anytime soon on the podium with Jake Sanson and the presentation. Massis Gladys, Riccardo Agnello and Yevan David are ready to receive the trophies and flowers, of course, after what has been a very strong performance in the final. After this one, the KZ final is upon us, the last race of the day, and we're going to see a stronger position between Matteo Vigano and Paolo Ippolito. Victor Gustafsson and Pedro Hilbrand will be alongside each other on the second row of the grid, with Stanpex, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the newcomer, the fresh face in this class, of course, is not at all an unknown name in the world of karting. Just recently crowned a European champion in the OK class, as well as in the junior category last season. On his way to first season in gearbox karting, starting with the FIA Karting European Championship in Adria, then the World Championship in 2 weeks' time in Kristianstad. Let's see what's going to happen, because the opposition will be absolutely intense, and the battle for the European title in the KZ class is not yet completed. We have 2 big candidates, of course, with Matteo Vigano and Emilian Denner. And let's see what's going to happen. Stanpex very much in the mix, but in the points, Riccardo Longhi and Emilian Denner are tight with just 1 single point, splitting them at the end of the qualifying heats. Qualifying heats where Riccardo Longhi, after a very difficult qualifying for most of the Birella drivers, weren't able to climb the field as much as he would have liked, of course. So he's going to have to start from the back end of the grid, from row number 8, but still they're going to have 26 laps to try to conclude the weekend on a higher note. So this will be this will give us plenty of spectacle, plenty of show to live together. And don't forget to tune in FIAKarting.com, the official website of the competition, as well as on YouTube, the YouTube channel, and Facebook, as well as on Instagram, Twitter. Don't hesitate, of course, once again, to give us a link to subscribe and to give us any advice, questions. We'll be more than happy to answer them in the meantime. The podium ceremony is about to start for the Academy Trophy in just a few moments, and from precisely 3:25, we're going to be ready to start the presentation in just a few minutes, the presentation of the drivers of the KZ final, then the start of the race at 3:40 local time. So make sure to be there. But before that, we have another podium to celebrate for Massis Gladys, Riccardo Agnello and Yevan David. All those 3 drivers, of course, like the rest of the Academy Trophy competitors, had 3 qualifying heats to go through to make their way to the final, which they did in great fashion. 3 qualifying races. Massis Gladys managed to win 1, and then on his way to a victorious effort in the final. Alexander Bondarev, 4th in the final, managed to win 2 races. Nicolas Roos from South Africa was 3rd best man at the end of the qualifying heat in front of Yevan David, 1 win as well from the young driver from Sri Lanka. Yevan David, who's been really making a name for himself for the past few months on the international karting scene, starting, of course, in the junior class of the European Championship, then putting himself in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy with some great results along the way, and his first strong result here at this level with a 3rd place finish in Adria. So where to go for the young man from Sri Lanka. And once again, we've been talking about the fact that it's very difficult, especially in the context of the COVID for the past few months since 2020. It's been difficult for the drivers in whatever category actually to keep on traveling. If you're not from Europe, which is the case for most of the drivers competing in the Academy Trophy, unless they're located, of course, for some of them in the UK or in Italy, this can be actually quite difficult to get your travel done and to be able to attend all the races. So once again, this is hats off to everybody as part of the FIA Karting Federation, but to the drivers and the entourage to be able to be part of this very beautiful competition. The School of Karting, as we like to refer, that has been producing some great show once again. We're not quite done yet. We have one more round at Kristianstad, as I think we're getting ready for the podium ceremony in just a few moments, as we're going to give the award to Maciej Gladys, Ricardo Agnello, and Yevan David. I'm waiting for the crew, the cue from Jake Sanson and the rest of the crew, and then we'll be ready to give out trophies and flowers to a well-deserving top 3 drivers of the Academy Trophy. In the rest of the classification, Bandarev was 4th, David Walter was 5th, in front of Leo Robinson, Leon Zelenko, Luka Neuschanter, Mark Kastelic, and Darius Babayona, with certainly the reward for best recovery going to Mark Kastelic with 18 plays gained in the course of 20 laps. So it gives you an average of 1 overtaking, even more per lap. So quite a strong effort from Mark Kastelic all the way to 9th place. Certainly not a weekend I had expected, considering his place on the grid. Certainly a better result than they would have hoped, but all in all, a satisfying performance in terms of fun. At least Mark Kastelic might have had a lot of fun on track, despite the result certainly not up to the expectations initially at the beginning of the weekend. Because fun is also part of the game, isn't it? At least when it comes to the Academy Trophy, those drivers are here to learn, they're here to improve and get better drivers at the end of the season. But let's not forget, of course, they're here as well to take pleasure and be happy about what they do. Driving and racing is a very, very serious thing, especially with ambitions to climb through the ranks of motorsport, starting with karting. But the pleasure component, the pleasure factor, doesn't have to be forgotten. In this case, they have a lot of pleasure. Here we go for the podium ceremony.
The FIA Karting Academy Trophy has once again served us up a fabulous race, and what a terrific battle it has been. A little bit of history on the podium today and a great result. In 3rd position for Sri Lanka, Yevan David. In 2nd position for Italy, Riccardo Iannello. But your race winner for Poland, Maciej Gladys! And in deference to our racer on the top step of the podium, the national anthem for Poland. A fantastic display from our drivers. In 3rd position for Sri Lanka, Yevan David. And in 2nd place for Italy, Riccardo Iannello. And in 2nd position for Poland, Maciej Gladys. A fantastic performance from our drivers. They've been absolutely amazing in the Academy Trophy. Please give it up for your top 3 drivers after an excellent performance. Yevan David, Riccardo Iannello, and your race winner, Maciej Gladys. The drivers will return in 3 weeks' time at Kristianstad in Sweden when the FIA Karting Academy Trophy will conclude. But for the moment, the 3 drivers will get their moment of glory and celebrate in style in the paddock. From now, we switch our attention to the KZ European Championship finale.